This is a franchise that badly, badly needs bigs. And my God, if they have not gone out here and signed another guard. Hell, I'm out here telling people, yeah, we probably can't sign Kate Martin because we got too many guards. Shit, you made all of us look like fools. You went and signed another guard anyway, and it wasn't Kate Martin. What?
Frustration among Indiana Fever fans reached a new peak after the team used its final developmental roster spot to sign guard Bree Hall, a decision that has been met with widespread disbelief from a fan base that has been loudly calling for the organization to add size, not more perimeter players. The Fever's roster construction problems have been discussed all offseason, but the Hall signing brought the criticism to a head. Indiana's inability to protect the rim and secure defensive rebounds has been visible since the season opener, where they surrendered 107 points to the Dallas Wings. With their last available developmental slot now spent on a guard, the window to address those interior concerns through the standard roster process has effectively closed.
What the is going on? And then we got Stephanie White. The one thing that was deadly in the Indiana Fever's arsenal was the pick and roll game between Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. You heard me say it. Stockton and Malone style. Stephanie White even said Stockton and Malone style before she even got hired. I was talking.
Through 14 games, however, that action has become increasingly rare. Critics say it appeared just twice in the most recent game, and the shift has not gone unnoticed. White addressed the change in a media session, framing it as a strategic evolution rather than an abandonment. Her argument is that after 14 games, the rest of the league has had ample time to prepare for the Clark-Boston two-man game on the first side of the floor, and that the Fever need to find new angles to generate the same advantages.
Talking about John Stockton to feeding Karl Malone, and it was deadly. Nobody could stop it. And there has not been a damn thing that showed any team in this league could stop Caitlin Clark feeding Aaliyah Boston. But after 14 games, Stephanie White has said, nah, you're not going to see the pick and roll anymore. And guess what? The other day we saw it twice, I think.
Her preferred solution involves running Boston as more of a hub, a point forward operating through the middle of the offense, while also creating space for Kelsey Mitchell to operate as a dynamic scoring threat from the secure perimeter. Mitchell is one of the most capable shot creators in the league, and White's intention is to use her as a pressure release that opens up the floor for Clark and Boston to find each other. The problem, critics argue, is that this approach effectively deprioritizes the most efficient and proven element of Indiana's offense in favor of a more balanced look that hasn't demonstrated it can replicate the same results. Some observers have gone further, suggesting that centering the offense more heavily around Mitchell while dialing back Clark's primary role in the two-man action risks diminishing the very thing that drives the Fever's ratings, attendance, and media rights value.
Twice? Maybe? Are you kidding me? You have abandoned it? You've abandoned something else that worked. Well, I guess you probably did, because that's the only way your girl Kelsey Mitchell is going to get off. Again, I'm not trying to hate on Kelsey Mitchell. I'm not. This got nothing to do with her. Dynamic scorer, one of the best dynamic scorers in the league, not named Kennedy Carter.
That last point carries real weight. The WNBA's current media landscape is built in significant part around Clark's visibility. Networks that have signed deals with the league are delivering those agreements with the expectation of certain ratings. When the product on the floor doesn't reflect the draw that was being sold, questions eventually come back around to advertisers and rights holders.
But exactly in what pecking order is Caitlin Clark now? Is she third? Shit, before we know it, Caitlin Clark's going to be coming off the bench as a sixth man, because I'm starting to wonder, has the back been hurt? Was it hurt last year? And a byproduct of the hurt back is a bad groin and a bad hip flexor and all that.
Empty seats at what should have been a packed home opener have only added to that unease. Clark's physical status has also become a conversation. Her exits during games for what the team describes as routine maintenance adjustments have prompted questions about whether something more significant is being managed. White has been careful to keep the language vague, describing the process as standard protocol enabled by the league's expanded medical staffing.
Or did the bad hip flexor and the groin cause the back injury compensating? One of the two, they can go hand in hand. Yeah, you're not, by the way, you're not doing all of that stuff that Stephanie White's been talking about. Oh, you're going into the blue tent and all that. You're not doing that unless there is an issue. Unless there is an issue. Otherwise, that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
The suggestion is that other players are doing the same. Whether Clark is dealing with lingering issues from previous seasons, a back injury, hip flexor problems, or something else entirely remains unclear, but the frequency of the stoppages has kept the speculation alive. The central complaint threading through all of it is that the Fever continue making decisions that don't appear to serve Caitlin Clark's development or the team's best chance at competing. Signing another guard with the last available roster spot, dialing back the play that made the offense work, and allowing the roster's size problem to go unaddressed, heading into a stretch of road games for a growing portion of the fan base. These aren't isolated mistakes.
That in the history of sports, me covering it and or consuming it. First time ever. We have signed a guard, Bree Hall, to a player developmental contract. We have signed guard, Bree Hall. I got nothing against Bree Hall, but it's a guard. I mean, we needed guards like we need to catch rabies.
They're starting to look like a pattern. The conversation among Fever supporters following the Dallas loss centers on a troubling defensive performance and whether the coaching staff can address it before it becomes a season-defining problem. The Wings shot 59% from the field and 52% from three. Indiana kept the final margin to 3 points by continuing to score, but the defensive issues that allowed Dallas to put up 60 points in the first half were real and apparent.
I mean, seriously. Like we all need the swine flu is how we needed a guard. This is ridiculous. I don't... What the F? You signed another guard to the same contract the Sparks gave Kate Martin.
Stephanie White addressed the performance in her post-game comments. The problems she identified were transition defense, unnecessary over-rotations, coverage breakdowns, fouling jump shooters, and a failure to secure defensive rebounds before getting back. Her framing was that all of it is correctable and that discipline rather than any structural inability to defend is the root cause. The broader point she made was direct. No team in this league can simply outscore its way through a season.
You know, the difference in their uncontested looks from three and our contested looks from three.
Right.
Sometimes we were over-rotated when we didn't need to be. Sometimes we had coverage breakdowns. You know, unnecessarily. We're hanging around, not going to the offensive boards, but not getting back in transition defense. We gave up a lot in transition. So, you know, all correctable things. Fouling shooters, like fouling jump shooters, you know, all detail-oriented things.
Caitlin Clark kept her post-game comments measured, emphasizing resilience and staying composed in appropriate posture for a team leader after a difficult opener. Dallas head coach Jose Fernandez offered a candid and revealing post-game press conference. He spoke about managing minutes in the fourth quarter, noting he would have preferred to rest his starters longer before closing out the game. He acknowledged a third-quarter defensive breakdown involving coverage rotations that gave the Fever an opening to make it competitive.
All detail-oriented things, and it's just an area that we got to continue to grow. We're not going to be able to outscore teams in this league. Everybody's too good. You got to defend at multiple positions, and teams expose you if you're undisciplined. So we've just got to be better. We know that, and the good thing is that it's all correctable.
Obviously, defense was a big thing in the preseason, but
Now, what happened was, this is my theory, I believe the Dallas Wings played them in that preseason game, and they seen flaws. They seen a whole bunch of flaws and holes within the defense.
He also pointed out that Indiana took 11 more shots than Dallas, a possession and rebounding discrepancy the Wings will look to correct going forward. On the subject of Paige Buchers, Fernandez was unambiguous. He described her as special, a player who reads defensive coverages 2 or 3 actions ahead and makes decisions that most guards in the league simply can't.
A whole bunch of flaws and holes within the defense, and they took advantage of it. As long as they could keep scoring, they knew that they could beat the Fever because the Fever suck at transitional basketball, rebounding, and stopping threes. It is going to be a nightmare season if they do not get this fixed. Now, I'm here to tell you, the Dallas Wings, they was definitely flexing on a Fever yesterday. Listen to this. Listen to this. It say bye-bye Fever.
What body temperature is considered a fever?
Having coached against her and now coaching her, his assessment was that her basketball intelligence is genuinely remarkable. She finished the game with a single turnover, and Fernandez specifically highlighted her ability to handle ball pressure as a key factor in how Dallas was able to move the ball and create clean looks throughout the night. The team's 26 assists on 39 made baskets illustrated how the offense functioned.
Considered a fever.
I think I know this. Is it above 97, 98, 99, 100?
What body
Look, they laughing. They laughing. Bye-bye Fever. Bye-bye Fever.
All right. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to prepare. All right. And let's continue to have fun together. All right. Let's go bring it in.
Now, Caitlin Clark was very nonchalant about.
He described the crowd as genuinely basketball savvy rather than simply loud, a distinction he drew from his experience in high-level college environments. A sellout crowd on national television for an opening night game underscored exactly why the league's current growth trajectory is taken seriously. Fernandez also touched on his backcourt depth, noting that with 5 capable guards, Odyssey Sims, Buchers, Arike Ogunbowale, AZ Fudd, and Isaiah James distributing touches and managing minutes across a long season will require ongoing attention.
Nonchalant about this whole game. She didn't really have a lot to say about the game, except we just need to hold our head up high, which is the great thing to say as a leader. But Stephanie White, you're going to have to fix this defense. I don't give a damn how you do it, how you go about it. You're definitely going to have to fix this defense. But let's listen to Dallas Wings head coach at the conclusion of this game, because I find this to be very, very interesting. So let's play it right now, and y'all see why.
Getting players who logged 1-5 to 1-7 minutes up toward 20 is part of that load management process as the schedule extends. The Wings return home with a win. The Fever return with a clear set of problems that need solving quickly.
I'll see why I decided to make this video. Let me blow it up here for you guys, and I want y'all to listen to this.
We tried to rest them as much as we could in the fourth, but I wish we could have rested them a little bit more. Probably another minute and a half for them to close. We knew I was going to close with that group, but I thought that first half we got off to a great start. Right, put up 60 in the first half, and then we knew that they weren't going to go away, and they were going to make a run. That third quarter hurt us a little bit with our cover downs and our rotations.
What do you think of Ricky's performance, especially after arriving late to camp and not playing in the preseason?
I thought it was pretty good performance. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So I thought she was again as a team, 26 assists on 39, right? 39 baskets. 26 assists on 39, right? 39 baskets. The 15 turnovers, but we didn't get extra possessions on the glass, right? And again, we'd like to take more than 66 shots, right? They took 11 more than we did. But 60 from the floor, 52 from three. You missed some free throws.